Hello, my name is Michelle Dorman, and I am your student's speech teacher for the first semester at West Claremont High School. Before I say a little bit about the course, I'll tell you a little bit about who I am as a teacher and as a person. I've lived in Cincinnati my whole life. I went to the University of Cincinnati, huge Bearcats fan, and I have taught in the West Claremont School District for my entire career. The first 16 years of my career were spent at Glen Estee High School, and I've been at West Claremont for the last three. As a teacher, it is my goal to build relationships with the students in my classroom and perhaps more importantly, ensure that they build positive relationships with one another. And I feel like once that happens, when we're in a comfortable, safe space, then the real learning can take place. And it's my job to prepare them for whatever it is they decide to do after high school, whether it is the military or a career or college. So, as a speech teacher, I feel incredibly lucky in the regard that whatever it is your student chooses to do, this course is critical. I think it's one of the most important classes a student can take in his or her high school career. It just pays off immensely in the long run. I've had so many students who have taken speech come back and tell me that this is one course that they are so happy that they took because regardless of what you do, it's beneficial. So, in our speech class, we obviously spend 99% of the time communicating with one another. This looks a little bit different this year in the way that I'll do that because we are remaining socially distant. We have masks on, and we're making sure that we're following all those health protocols while ensuring that the students are able to communicate with one another to the best of their ability and really learn the essence of what it means to be a good communicator and a good speaker. So we'll move from small group share to large group share, and we make sure that the focus is really on one another, no phones, etc. Um, we start with kind of a small stage where we have some informal speaking, and we'll do a lot of impromptu speeches or 1 minute speeches. And this low stake speaking, I find, builds a lot of confidence for the larger speeches that we'll do or the more formal speeches that we'll do later in the semester. Our first major speech, which we'll be embarking upon, I guess, next week is when we'll start, is the personal introduction speech. And this year, the personal introduction speech will take on a little bit of a different look. We'll do that through interviewing someone else and introducing that person to the class. After that, we'll move into the demonstration speech, also known as the how-to speech. And this is almost always the student's favorite speech because we learn so many cool things and different ways to do things, and they really always love that. After demonstration, we'll move into informative, and then depending on where we are in the semester and our skills as a class, we'll either move into persuasive or we'll work on some different type of lower stakes speaking that will come together for a larger speech at the end. And then we usually finish with a commemorative speech or a tribute speech. And for my seniors, this is always a really fun moment because they're realizing that they have a lot to pay tribute to, and it's a great opportunity to do it. So again, we move from more informal speaking to formal speeches, and then we'll toss in other mid-range speeches, as I call them. So we're just running the gamut of speeches, and the point values are all over the board. But as long as students are giving it their best effort, they're getting up, they're looking at the rubric and doing their best and improving, they will end up being so successful in speech class and growing and learning and building confidence, which is really what we want at this level. I also have several little mini lessons that we'll do throughout the semester to build our skills. We will work on interviewing. We'll practice reading children's books because as young adults, when we're little, maybe babysitting or with little brothers and sisters, we often pick up a children's book and read it to someone else. And when we do that, we're reading it in a much different fashion than we interact with others in everyday life. And the way the students read children's books really helps them to understand the kind of things that are really important to do with your voice when you're trying to gather the attention of a room full of people. We'll do a little bit of debate and we'll just really come together and have an amazing time in speech class. So far this semester, we are taking time to get to know one another, and I can already see the class growing. And I think it's going to be an amazing semester. I'm so excited to have speech in my schedule. I've been teaching it for probably 14 years at this point, and I'm super excited for this year. Thank you so much.